Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. I'm using Lisa Eldridge's new Myth palette today. This is the last palette I have where there are shades that I haven't actually worn. I've worn every other shade at least once, some more than once, because these are gorgeous. But I did pull this palette out last week and wear it to work. I didn't wear every shade, I wore 3. So I'm hoping to do a look today that incorporates every single one of these beautiful shades. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm a little bit uncomfortable with purples, with deep berry tones, and we definitely have that going on with these last 2 shades here in the palette. But I'm just gonna take a deep breath and trust that these formulas are going to be amazing on the eye. I'm going to start in this light matte shade here. This one is a velvet texture. This one's called Mauve Decade. This is one that I used the other day when I was going to work, and I love this eyeshadow. So pretty. If you're not familiar with these formulas, Lisa created 2 different types of mattes. This is more of the cream to powder formula. It's a powder, but it performs like a cream to powder formula. And she created another one that has just a little amount of kind of shimmer in it. She says not enough that you can actually tell that it's shimmery, but her seamless matte formula has a little bit of pearl in it to make the skin look like skin, so it's not a completely flat matte. This is the more matte of the 2 formulas. And I always love how easily these blend. These with like no effort at all. Beautiful. I was just taking a moment to look at the back, and I was assuming there was going to be a seamless matte, and here there's not. All 4 matte shades in this palette are all velvet mattes. And I have really fallen in love with that texture. And I think a lot of it is just how easy it blends. So I'm going to pick up the darkest shade in this palette. This one's called Nocturama. And I am going to build a little bit of depth on the outside edge of my eye, kind of like in this outer V area. I'm going to place it there and I'll blend it in just a minute. But I want to get the placement the same on both eyes before I start blending. In the last week, I have been using these eyeshadow palettes exclusively for eye looks. And the one thing that I have learned is that although the shades may be different, the formulas are similar. There's a remarkable consistency amongst each different type of formula and how the colors are. So you could have more of a nude palette or this purple palette, but the velvet mattes are always going to perform the same despite color. So I've been really impressed by that. Same is true for the metallics. I'm going to take a slightly larger brush. The other thing that I figured out is that I really like the way these look best when I'm using synthetic brushes. And I put away all of my synthetic eye brushes, a long time ago, more than a year ago. And I've been reaching for my natural hair brushes. And if you're using a natural hair brush, you're definitely going to get more of a light wash. But if you want a little bit more pigment, I think that synthetic brushes are the way to go. And I think they were designed that way because Lisa did release eye brushes. I think there are 4, I could be wrong, brushes with her new holiday collection. I didn't manage to pick any of them up because they're kind of expensive. Now I know they're made by specialty artisans in Japan, but I already have a lot of really beautiful, luxurious eye brushes. And I felt like I could probably just pick up the makeup and play from there. I think it would be interesting to see what the brushes apply this makeup like. Maybe they are like the perfect dream team. So the first time I wore this eyeshadow palette, I did exactly what I did now, and then I pulled in the Soul Metallic in this palette right here over the lid and called it a day. And it was stunning. It was absolutely beautiful. But my goal today is to use all of the shades in here. So I'm gonna keep going and have a little tea break though. This purple shade here is called Violet Stone. This is the one that gives me a moment to pause, but I'm going to be placing this right here on the majority of the lid. I'm taking just a clean brush and I'm kind of blending the edges here This is the only metallic shade in the palette. This is called Faded Amethyst. And I'm just going to lightly pat this over the inner corner of the eye and a little bit over the purple. I don't want to completely lose it. Might have to come in and build a little bit more. I feel like I lost a little bit of that purple and I don't want to. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit more of it and kind of tap it over that metallic shade. I'm going to take this shade here in Victorian Trim and just run a little bit of this underneath the lash line. Oh, I don't know, guys. I'm going to grab a little bit of Nocturama as well and kind of blend it in with Victorian Trim. And then I'm just going to take some time to really blend this. I'm going to be here for a minute. This shade right here in the center is called Illusionism. It's a top coat. It's a really pretty kind of light sparkly. I'm just going to pick it up on a fuzzy, oh wow, and tap it right over the eye. A little bit of pink, a little bit of purple. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of that top coat shade and just kind of hit the inner corner with it. This is kind of a chunkier brush than I would normally do that with, but I already have it out, so I'll do that. And I think I'm going to take a little bit of the shade in Faded Amethyst and just kind of run it right along the lower lash line as well. I'm just taking a cotton bud and taking just a minute to kind of make sure that I don't have anything where I don't want it below a certain point. And the point that I'm always looking for is, you know, nose to the edge of my eyebrow, and that I don't have any eyeliner outside of this area here. I got a little low on this side, and I'm trying to make sure that I kind of lift and clean that up. You could do it with a dry sponge. You could do it, if you do your eyes first, you could always take a wipe and do that. I tend to lean very heavily on cotton buds at this point, just to make sure I don't have things where I don't want them. And it kind of also softens things as we go. I'm going to take a minute to throw on some eyeliner and mascara, and I'll be right back. Here's a look that I came up with. I like the way the eyes look. I always struggle by finding the right blush and lipstick once I have a really bold eye on. And I don't know whether it's a lack of knowledge of color theory on my end, whether my fair skin gives me some challenges. I feel like the last time I wore a bolder look on the eye, I had the wrong blush and lipstick on, and I was really trying to figure that out today. So I reached for this Gucci blush. I have the shade Rosy Beige, and it does end up looking a little bit more neutrally beigey brown on my cheeks, which is what I was going for. And I tried to find a lipstick that was like that. And I was putting on the Barest Whisper of Night Thoughts from Lisa Eldridge, which is kind of like a deep berry shade, and it's sheer, and it was too much in my estimation. I did the same thing with Myth, just a little bit of a, ooh, that's too much. And so I finally just settled on this. This is the Balm.com's Swiss Mist. This is their holiday shade, and it's brown, and it's really pretty, but it's also really sheer. So that's what it looks like. But when I have it kind of over my own natural lip color, it just gave me just enough without look like I was trying too hard, because every other lipstick made it look like I was trying too hard. If you have a suggestion for what lipstick would go well with this, please let me know. I feel like I would be in a different place if I used everything but these two shades here. This purple and this more orchid shade that I pulled in are lovely, but I really feel like it took it in a place where I was unsure of what to pair with this. And that just comes from my lack of experience of wearing tones like this already. Had I been wearing, you know, these more purpley tones regularly, I would know exactly what lipstick to pair with this, where it was just enough and not too much. And I'm gonna have to keep playing with this, but let me tell you, I'm still a little bit like worried about these deeper plummy tones, purple tones, but I really, really like the way the eye look turned out, and I think it looks fantastic with my brown eyes. I'll tell you that for many, many years, I didn't reach for purple shadows because I remember going to a makeup counter. Oh, 20 plus years ago, maybe 25 years ago. And I was looking for makeup to match a bridesmaid's dress for my best friend's wedding. And I really wanted to go for, you know, shades like this. And the person at the counter was like, well, I don't know. It's gonna bring out the dark circles that you have. It's gonna make you look like you got punched in the eye. And ever since they said that, it's like I can never unhear it. That bell has been rung. I can't unring that bell. And that's why I have always steered clear of these shades. Although looking at it, I think it's super pretty. I really like this. So I need to maybe get rid of some of that, you know, emotional baggage from that one person who was saying something about what potentially could look good or not good on me from many, many moons ago. This is a gorgeous eye look. I really like the way that it looks. I don't know, the more and more I look at it, the more and more impressed I am with it. The one thing I have to figure out is my leaky left eye. Because I'm trying to keep the dark circles, and I have like a darker spot right here that always is a little bit bluer than the rest. If I can keep that concealed and figured out, I think this would be like fun to wear on the regular. And what's interesting, and you may not be able to see it here in the camera, my eyes look just a little bit warmer and a little bit more golden with this shade on the eyes. I don't know that I've ever really noticed that coloring in my eyes before. They look really different. This is just a beautiful eyeshadow palette. So I will wear all of these shades again. I'll probably, you know, kind of limit it down to 3 or 4 for a work day, because I would probably do like these guys here for a work day and wait to work these guys in if I have an event, or I'm, you know, going out to dinner, or I'm doing something, or I have time to sit down and play. I don't know that I would have the confidence to pull these out for I've got 6 minutes to get my makeup on and out the door, but I probably would reach for this shade here and this shade here with a little bit of this as liner or outer corner deepening. I'm really glad to have this in there, and I feel like the palette in Sorcery that's kind of got those blues and greens really, first of all, brought me joy, and also helped me kind of realize I can wear those colors. I feel like this palette is doing the same thing. It's helping me step outside of my personal comfort zone and realize that this is a really pretty eye look, and I should wear more colors like this. I will make sure to give you some more in-depth thoughts on shades, what they're similar to in my collection, what they remind me of at a later date, but I still need to keep playing with them. But I'm glad now to have gotten through all 5 of these in the last week and really had a chance to wear them and really get to know them a little bit better. Thank you so much for watching today. Let me know, did you pick up Myth? Have you been loving it? How are you wearing it? What are you doing different than me? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you are a purple eyeshadow fan, if you are devoted to that look, tell me what your favorite shades are or your favorite formulas. And if you have yet to try any of these Lisa Eldridge eyeshadows, but you're curious and you want to know more, ask me a question down below. I'm happy to answer any of those for you. Thank you so much for watching. I will leave the rest of my Lisa Eldridge playlist in the description bar. I will also have links to each individual eyeshadow palette, so you can click those. Those will all be listed down there as well. Have an incredible day, and I will see you again soon. Bye.